Okay, in this example, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can enlarge our triangle 1, scale factor 2, center of enlargement 3, 1. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to mark on where my center of enlargement would be. So 3, 1 is going to be down here. And then what you want to do is you want to count basically how many squares there are from your center of enlargement point to all of the object points. So there's my triangle 1. And from here, the center of enlargement to this point, it is only 1 square. And when we double that, you get 2 squares. So from here, it was 1 wee square to get to here. So double that takes you to 2. So for 2 back from the center of enlargement, 1 and then 2 will take you up to this point. So my new point, my new image point is going to be up here. Right, to do the next one, we're looking at this one down here. To do this point, what you could do is measure with your ruler. Draw a straight line and measure with your ruler this length here, which is absolutely fine, and then double it and see where it goes to. But a smarter way of doing it is measure to how much you go right and then how much you go up. So how many you go right is 3 right, and then you go 1 up. And if you double that, double the 3 and then double the 1, double the 3, you get 6. So that means go 6 across. So that means you go along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, instead of going 1 up, you go 2 up. So it'll take me to this point here. So that's where my new image point will be. Notice they are horizontal to each other, my 2 image points, which makes sense because the 2 object points were horizontal to each other as well. Okay, to do the last point, what you could do is draw this wee line and then continue it on along and see where it goes to. Measure this wee line, double it, and then continue it on along and see where it goes to. Smarter way of doing it is if you look at this wee distance here, that is 2 squares. So if you double that, it's going to be 4 squares up from here. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to take you to there. So sorry, what I did there. That was 4 squares up from this point. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All you're left to do then is to link up those lines, which I will do now. Okay, so now drawing that triangle for us, just so we can see if we'd use the first method I talked about and we had drawn on our points and just drawn on our lines, we could extend all of those and you'll see they will all go through the points that I had said. So probably the way I've told you to do it is the nicest way of doing it. Okay, we're going to go on and look at examples where we have either a negative scale factor or a fractional scale factor. Okay, in this example we have the enlarged triangle 1, scale factor equal to -2, center of enlargement 7, 2. Right, the difference with the minus scale factor is just that the triangle will appear on the other side of the center of enlargement. So we go about this the same way. So the first thing we're going to do is just measure the distance from our center of enlargement to our object point. So here you can see I've measured 1 wee square. So multiply 1 by -2, you get -2. So that means 2 back the other way. So it actually goes out this direction. Okay, so that's where your first object point goes to. For the next one, we'll do the same idea. We're going to measure this wee distance. It's 1 wee square, 2 wee squares, 3 wee squares to get out to here. 3 times -2 is -6. So that means -6 out the other way. So go back to your center of enlargement and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it takes you to here. And the last one then we have to do is just measure from our center of enlargement diagonally down. So that's just 1 diagonal square. That's a nice easy way of doing it. 1 diagonal square. So we want to go back 2 diagonal squares the other way. So it's back up this way, 1 and 2. So you can see the 3 points that we have. So we've got one here, 1 here, and 1 here. So all we do is link those up again. Okay, so now I've got those linked up and you can see how it has worked out. So, and notice as well, if the question asks you to find the center of enlargement, you could just go, this point goes over to this point. And you could do, so you just do a dashed line all the way along. This point goes to this point, and this point up at the top here goes down to the one at the bottom. And where the dashed lines meet is the center of enlargement. So that's another question that they could ask you. In this example, we're going to look at how we enlarge by a fractional scale factor. So in this one, it says we are to enlarge triangle 1. So this is my triangle 1. We enlarge triangle 1, scale factor 1/3, center of enlargement 1, 1. So we've marked on our center of enlargement already, 1, 1. Right, number of ways of doing this one again. I like to use diagonal squares if they present themselves. So from here to here is 3 diagonal squares. 3 times 1/3 just gives you 1. So 1 diagonal square from my center of enlargement takes me to here. So this is where my first point goes to. Now there's lots of ways of doing the rest of it. So one way I could do it, and we'll be rubbing this out in a wee second, I could measure this distance using a ruler, measure this distance, and then multiply it by 1/3 and see where that takes me to. So I think it will take me to roughly here. Another way I could do it is I could go, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares to the right, and it's 1, 2, 3 squares up. So if you multiply both of those by 1/3, 9 times 1/3 would take me to 3, so it would take me to here, and 3 times 1/3 would take me to 1, which would take me to here. So there's 2 ways of finding that next image point. The way I would prefer to do it in one like this, I'm not saying you have to always use this last method I'm giving you, because sometimes you'll not be able to, but the other way you could do it is look at this wee distance here. So if you look at this distance, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. 6 times 1/3 is 2, so that means from this image point it's going to take me 2 squares. So that's all it's going to be. And that's the way we're going to do the last point as well. So the last point is from here, I go up 3 squares. That means from this last image point, I'm going to go up 3 times 1/3, which is 1 square, so it will take me here. And the last thing for you to do is just draw in, link up all your image points to give your final triangle, which I'll do now. Okay, and there you have it. There's your final triangle all joined up, and you can see again, just like the previous one, if the question had asked me to find where my center of enlargement was, so if you were given the 2 triangles, what you could do is trace back from the original triangle and see, continue on through and see where your lines meet up. So very, very rough here. Obviously, I'm just doing this freehand, but you can see where they meet up would be the center of enlargement, and that would be it. Okay.